I don't know if you've ever choked on food, but it's probably the worst thing to ever experience in your life because you don't know if you're going to be alive in about 28 seconds. And I remember it wasn't food. I mean, I guess it's water food. When I was in middle school, I was drinking my Sonic drink and a piece of ice got stuck in my throat. And here's the bad thing about ice is there's no Heimlich maneuver that can get ice out. There is no gut punch. There's no really Southern Pentecostal preacher that could punch you in the stomach hard enough to get a piece of ice out. If you ever choke on a piece of ice, you really have to be the most brave person in the world because the ice isn't, it's not coming out. You just have to wait for the ice to go down into your gullet and make its way into your stomach. So really the only way to survive choking on ice is to outlast the ice. So, I mean, it's always been hard for me because I can't hold my breath that long. If you remember being in, a youngster or maybe a teenager or maybe a young adult, you always play that game in the pool where you say, okay, hey man, let's see who can hold our breath the longest. Because that'll immediately, rank us in our pack from who's the best to who's the dumbest. And I would always lose that game because I can't hold my breath I could probably hold my breath for 29 seconds. That's probably the longest I can hold my breath. I don't know what it is. I've never been a smoker. I remember one time I got karate chopped in the throat by my brother when he was in karate. He was trying out his new moves on me and popped me right in the throat. He great call lead me in my esophagus. But I've never had like breathing issues. I've never had asthma, but I probably can't hold my breath longer than 29 seconds. And so I remember when I was in middle school, I was drinking this ice and a big piece of ice got stuck. And that's weird for Sonic because Sonic only gives you those cubes. I guess I had a small food tube at the point, but that ice got lodged right there. And I started to panic and I was like, I'm going to die because I can't hold my breath longer than 29 seconds. I had timed it in the bathtub. So eventually, I guess my throat was so warm that it poked a little air hole, a little lifesaver hole through the ice to where I could get a little bit of air in. It was such a small amount of air, it kind of sounded like, but it kind of went through and I was able to get a little bit of air. But I think ice, you have to be the bravest person in the world to choke on ice because, it's never, you can't get it by, strenuating the stomach region. You just have to wait it and brave it out. So I guess my question to you is you may be tough, but how long can you hold your breath? I guess is really what I'm trying to say. But we're on our next episode, baby. And we're making it and we're doing it. And let's get into it.
Falling down on my knees once again. I've seen my fate, I can't stand to pretend.
If I were to describe myself in one word, I think there's a lot of words to describe myself in. I think I would describe myself as an admirer. I love to admire. You might catch me if I'm in different places. You might catch me admiring different things. You might catch me admiring different people, and I love to just admire God's creation. And I think that really says a lot about a person when you can admire somebody else, when you can really look past yourself and just acknowledge how great people are, how good people are, and you can even look somebody in the eye that's in a position that you want to be, and without any jealousy or harshness, you can really congratulate them on where they are in life, and you can be a fan of theirs. And I think that this world would be so much better if we were a fan of one another. But I was thinking about rap music. Dude, if you don't know me, I get down to rap music. It doesn't matter if it's like, it goes all the way from Post Malone to Toby Mac. You know what I'm saying? I just love rap music. If it's got a hard beat in it, if it's got a bass drum, if it got a snare, you're going to see my hips moving like Shakira. And I've always said that. I'll tell your grandmama that. If there's a solid beat, like if there's a Boots and Cats beat to whatever song is playing, it doesn't matter. I will be out there letting you know that my hips don't lie. And these hips don't lie. These hips will look you straight in the eye and tell you how beautiful you are. These hips have never told a lie in their life. And I was thinking about rap music, and what I admire about rap people, rap stars, is that they admire people. When rap people go on to, before their rap performance, when they go on stage to rap, they always give out their RIPs. If you don't know what that means, it's a syncronym. No. It's an acronym for rest in peace. And rap superstars, will go out on stage and literally give about 40, 45 RIPs. They'll be up there, the music hits, you're in the crowd, and the opener just finished, and he was all right. He wasn't the best. That's probably why he's an opener. And then your guy comes out on stage, and his hit song is going. His hit song, his hit song, Anointed Trap is going, and it's just banging, and you're just ready to scream out the lyrics, and you can feel the beat, and you're kind of moving. But he'll stop the song right before he ever starts rapping. He'll stop the song, and he'll look at the camera, he'll look at the crowd, and he'll take his big bottle of whatever he's drinking. A lot of these rappers, they drink alcoholic beverages. The Christian rappers usually drink Welch's grape juice, but whatever it is, they'll take it and they'll pour it on the ground, and they'll start RIPing their best friends who have passed on, or RIPing people who they've been in the industry with who have passed on. You might get a rapper up there, and he's about to start rapping, and then he said, DJ, cut that music. DJ, cut it. DJ, stop playing that music. Push the pause button and stop buzzing on my music. And then it'll get really quiet. He'll usually have a moment of silence, and the rapper will say into the microphone, rest in peace, DJ. Rest in peace, DJ Chop Screw. Rest in peace, DJ Long Shot. Rest in peace, little Turnpike. Rest in peace, rest in peace, Headband. Whatever the rapper's name is, whoever passed on. And I've always admired that, because that's such a great sign of respect. And I think respect is something that's missing in our society. I think respect is something that at this point is ancient, almost obsolete. But then it got me thinking about country music. And if you know me, dude, I love country music. There's no better music than country music. Matter of fact, I could bring my rap dance moves into the country world. I could bring Shakira into the two-step. It don't matter. My hips don't lie, and neither does my culture. And I love country music. I'll two-step you. Dude, if you got a brand new floor and I come into your house, or wherever you got that floor, I'll two-step and I'll leave scratches in your floor. I'll leave dents in your floor, dog. Ain't no plumber gonna get them out. You know what I'm saying? And I just love to dance. And it got me thinking about country music stars. And the thing about country music stars is they respect one another, but they don't RIP people. And, there's not very many things that can make country music better. But I think country music would be better if we RIP'd each other. You know what I'm saying? Like right before you go out there, you have your guitar, you just caught your girlfriend cheating on you with your cousin, and you're kind of feeling all the emotions. Your dog just ran off. All these things, and you're just ready to perform. That's all you want to do, is you just want to perform. And then, but right when you go out there, even in the midst of life's craziness, even in the midst of, your girlfriend and your cousin kind of getting to know each other, you still RIP people. And what that shows is that you have courage in the midst of hardship. And I think, country singers have great concerts. They have great audience connection, but the one thing that they don't do is RIP people. How cool would it be if your favorite country singer, Blake Shelton got out there and he said, R.I.P. Daryl. If he got out there and Blake Shelton said, R.I.P. R.I.P. Funky. R.I.P. If you know me, bro, you might be saying, Funky, that's kind of a weird name. You ain't met my family. My family has the strangest names ever. And if you know my family, you can attest to that, because my family is just, and these aren't even names that, some people, a mom or a dad might lie to their kid and tell them that this is their aunt and uncle's name, and then it's like, oh, that's funny, but then it becomes like their actual name that only that kid calls them. No, my family, their nicknames are their names. Like, this is what they go by. I'm pretty sure this is what they got on a birth certificate. And a backstory of my family is some backwoods, Mississippi rednecks. And they're from Mississippi because if a real Mississippianite does not say all the letters in the word Mississippi. If you're ever doubting, if your spirit of discernment is ever kicking in on whether or not somebody is from Mississippi, I'll tell you the easiest way to figure that out is, how do they say their state? Like the best way to tell somebody's from Mexico is they say Mexico. The best way to tell somebody's from Russia is if they say nine. And the best way to tell if somebody's really from Mississippi is how they say Mississippi. Because a real Mississippianator will say, you'd be like, hey, where are you from? And they'll be like, Mississippi. And you'd be like, what? What? Where did you say you're from, Mr. One Tooth? Where did you say you were born at? And they'll look you straight in your eyes, and they'll say, oh, I'm sorry. I say I'm from Mississippi. Like, Mississippi from them is RIZIM. No, it's RIZIM. Mississippi. MIZIM. That's how they spell their state. And if you're from Mississippi and you say every single letter in the word Mississippi, if you're one of those, oh, I'm from the MI, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I. If you're one of those, if you think you're from Mississippi and you say that, you are not from Mississippi. Okay? What you are from is you're a liar. And so you're probably from, I don't know, California or New York. But real Mississippianites, real Mississippians, they say they're from Mississippi by MIZIM. And so my family comes from Mississippi. Most of them were born in Mississippi. They lived there for, most of their life. So I went and visited my family from Mississippi when I was in high school, and it was like going to a third world country. Like, they didn't know that there was cameras on phones. They didn't know that the internet was on phones. I remember this is right when the front camera came out on cell phones, and I went up to my one of my family members and I said, "Hey, isn't this crazy? Like, I just went and got this phone and it has a front camera." And he said, you think people down here in Mississippi are impressed by that? I'll tell you what's impressive. Your cousin got a phone with the interwebs on it. She got a phone where you can access different things in the world on the interwebs. And that's how they say it down there. They don't say internet or interweb. They say intra. Like, intra is the word for enter and intro. Like, skip past the intro of this video and go to the intranet, And then he was so impressed with the internet being on phones that he didn't even know that that's been a thing for years, dude. And I'll tell you what uncle that was. That was my Uncle Taters. And I'm not even lying to you. I'm not a liar. Remember, my hips don't lie, and that's probably one of the main functions of my body is, my hips. I've always used them in sports and stuff. But his name was Uncle. So I got Uncle Taters. I got Uncle Funky. I got Grandpa Stooge. I got Aunt Ding Ding. I think Aunt Ding Ding's dead, though. And I got Aunt Tootie. I got, who's some more? Aunt Bucky. Dude, there's so many weird family members that I have. Not weird family members, but weird named family members. And probably most of them don't even know about 9/11. Honestly, that's probably how long they are behind us in the real world. Like, they're probably easily pushing 20 years behind us. So they're just now about to figure out about 9/11. And I think that's not, I don't think it's bad. I think it says a lot about the Muslim culture. is that they don't really depend on, a lot of the things that we depend on. They don't depend on the technology like we depend on. They don't depend on things going, being, keeping up with the Jones, the modernalities that we depend on. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't even know if modernality is a word, but you know what I mean when I say it. They don't depend on that. It says a lot about the Muslim culture because they rely on family. They rely on what they've known when they grew up. And I think that's huge. I think that's kind of a culture that we all need to live in, is a culture that, we say, enough is enough. Like, I realize that, growing in this stuff is cool. I realize that modernizing stuff is cool, but like there's no independence anymore. Like there's no just us. Like you can't be an individual anymore. And that kind of takes away from the specialness of life, is that now everything's like connected. Like all your information is out there just to, ready to be received and adopted, and all your information is like ready to be, stolen. Your identity is not even secure. And you got people in Muslim, you got people in Muslim that you don't even know about these people. Like if you were to look for my family in Muslim, they live, dude, you have to drive like an hour and a half down a dirt road. And if you don't own a 4x4 truck, you're not getting down that road, dude. Like if you were to go out there in a smart car, bro, you're not getting past that third rock. You know what I'm saying? The third rock on that little red dirt road, you ain't getting past it because it's a boulder. And you got to have a 4-wheel drive out there. And, another thing about family is, my family out there, they don't know the word aunt or aunt, as some people say. You don't have an aunt. You don't have an aunt. You have an aunt. Like a lot of us in Texas, this is where I'm recording at, I'm in Texas. I live in Texas. I'm a Texas native. Like I've always been in Texas. We think the word ain't is like something like excluding, like, or like something that you don't do, like, or like that ain't right. That is not, is basically what ain't means. Or no, you ain't means no, you're not. That ain't right. That is not right. But ain't in Mississippi is a family member. You got your uncles, which is kind of like AUN, uncles, and then you got your aunts. So, if you have an aunt named Carol or an aunt named, Sydney, that's Aunt Carol and Aunt Sydney. And that's how it is. My dad was born in Mississippi, but what's crazy about my dad is he moved to Texas. So he kind of has that Mississippi and that Texas. And you can see a lot of his Mississippi traits coming out because my dad, he has the ability to say multiple words with one word. Like every time I go to his house, Southern hospitality tells you anytime somebody comes to your house, you offer them food, you offer them drink, you offer them, the opportunity to spend the night in your house. You don't even have to know them. That's just Southern hospitality. A random person could walk through your door. You're going to give them a nickname right off the bat. According to Southern hospitality, they get a nickname, a nice hot meal, a cold drink of water or tea probably, and they get a free night stay. I mean, it could be a robber in a ski mask breaking into your house, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, what's up, ski mask? What you doing, old ski mask? Oh, you want something to eat? Jeet. All right, man, we got biscuits and gravy. We got sweet tea. We got an extra bedroom. If you're nice enough, I'll split my wife with you." Like rednecks are crazy, bro. And my dad is that person. My dad can ask you if you have eaten today in one word. He can ask you if you have eaten a meal today in one word. And that word is spelled Jeat. 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 And you might be, asking yourself, how do you even pronounce that? Jot? Jot? No, we're not in France, idiot. The word is jeet. Jeet. Jeat. Jeet. And that means, did you eat? Jeet. That is insane. We have a whole society of people in Mississippi that are merging words without consent. And it's like normal, it's their normal vernacular there. You go into somebody's house here who's from Mississippi, like my dad, and the first thing he'll ask you, Jeet. And if you don't know what that means, you're probably gonna be looking around for somebody, thinking he's talking to somebody. You'll be, I don't know. Hey, is Jeet here? Is Jeet here, Mr. Jeet? or you think it's something that people drive, but that he's really trying to be kind and courteous to you, because that's how people, operate in Mississippi. My Mississippi family does not care, dude. They don't care. And I think that's a way of life that we should all adopt. I think that says a lot about people. And if you've ever had the privilege of meeting my dad, you know that he's got that, he's got that Mississippi in his heart. My dad is so country, boy. Even if you flew him out to, out the country, he's taking Mississippi wherever he goes. You know what I'm saying? My dad is country, but he does this thing that really irritates me. If my dad ever tells you, like, if he's cooking and he tells you this is, if he's cooking biscuits, but he says these are Mississippi biscuits, like if he ever puts the word Mississippi in front of anything that he's cooking, just know that it's about to taste awful. And, that's not a shot. That's just my dad. If he's cooking you, a grilled cheese sandwich, and he brings it out in front of you and it looks a little, it don't look like a grilled cheese sandwich. You say, Dad, what is this? I wanted a grilled cheese sandwich. He says, son, this is a Mississippi grilled cheese sandwich. Don't eat it. Because it's probably not even cheese. And the bread is probably bread that he just made out of milk and flour. So it's just, don't ever trust somebody from Mississippi who puts the word Mississippi in front. I remember one time he made biscuits, and we ran out of biscuits. So, no, that's not what it is. I'm lying straight to your face, and my hips don't lie, and I feel horrible for lying to you. My mom and dad were cooking chicken and dumplings. And that's one of the most popular meals down here in Texas. We love chicken and dumplings. And my mom had cooked the chicken. She had stripped the chicken off the bone, and she was chicken stripping, and she had peeled it off the bone, and she was like cooking the chicken, boiling it or whatever she does. And my dad was in charge of the dumplings, and he realized that we were out of dumplings. And they didn't buy the chicken dumpling combo. My family always made their own dumplings. I don't know what you make dumplings out of. Flour maybe. He realized that we were out of whatever ingredients it took to make dumplings. So what he did was he opened a can of biscuits. Okay? And he used these biscuits to make dumplings. He used biscuit material to make dumplings. And I remember he brought me a big old plate out in front of me. He said, "Son, here's your food." And I said, "Dad, I thought we were eating chicken and dumplings." And he said, "We are." And I said, "Well, I see the chicken, but I don't know what these big rice balls are that you put in my plate. I don't want these big rice balls, these big rice nuggets. Okay, I don't want these. I want dumplings." He said, "Son, those are Mississippi dumplings." And this is my first experience with him, saying Mississippi something, because my mom usually cooks. And I thought, Mississippi dumplings, I've never had those. That sounds pretty good. And it was not. And it was awful. And right when I bit into it, felt sick to my stomach. So anytime I go over to my parents' house now, and my dad, I say, "Yo, what y'all eating?" Because how many of you know that even when you move out, you go to your parents' house for a free night of dinner, and you go over there and you love on them, and you spend time with them because you secretly wish that you had never gotten a mortgage and that you lived at home the whole time so you could be saving huge amounts of money. But I would go over there, and right when I walked in, I would look at my dad or my mom, and I usually say, these 4 words: "What are we eating?" And if he ever, I went to school with a guy who said Ebner, Ebner, forever. If he Ebner, looked at me and said, "We're eating Mississippi something," whatever food, I don't care if it's my favorite food. My favorite food is tater tot casserole. If he looks at me and said, "We're eating Mississippi tater tot casserole," I will turn around, brother, and I will walk out of his house. And he knows that. You might be able to feed my brothers Mississippi food, but I care way too much about what tastes good to put any Mississippi food in my mouth. I won't do it, and I refuse. I still have my cousin Daryl. When he cooks chicken and dumplings, bro, I don't know how y'all cook y'all's chicken and dumplings, but my man Daryl, he'll make a bowl of dumplings. A big bowl of dumplings, and he'll rip off a chicken leg, or he'll go pick up a few chicken legs from KFC, and he'll stick an entire chicken leg in your bowl of dumplings, which is actually pretty sick. It's pretty cool, because now all you have to do is eat a dumpling, pick up that chicken leg, go carnivore on that bad boy, and ham bone. You're just eating, pick it up, dumpling, and that threw me off like crazy. My cousin Daryl, boy, that man's wild. I remember one time, he would always. What was special about my cousin Daryl is he would say these things to you that made you think for about 38 hours. If you ever had somebody tell you something and it took you 38 hours to process that thing, it makes you earn a little bit of respect for that person. Because like me and my brother, we'd be eating at the dinner table, whatever we were eating, those famous chicken and dumplings or some Mississippi biscuits or, some ramen noodles. And it didn't matter what we were eating, bro. If we were loud and we were being obnoxious while he was trying to watch the 700 Club or whatever he was watching, he told us this statement one time, and it threw me for a loop. I was so confused. I was quiet for 38 hours, which I think was his goal and his plan the whole time. He said this right here. We were being loud. Me and my brother, Bo, we were just going, boy, we were cracking each other up. And all he said, hey! He looked us right in the eye. He said, if you want to talk, then shut up. And I was like, whoa. I was like, this man just changed the game. This man's just flipped the flop on me, brother. Because then I didn't even want to talk. Because he had just given me a riddle that was way too complex for me to ever solve. And I'm usually pretty good at riddles. I'm probably the greatest riddle master in the world. And I'll tell anybody that. I'll tell your grandmama that. If you give me a riddle, I'll have it solved within minutes. Usually. Unless it's a hard riddle. This man looked at me and said, if you want to talk, then shut up. And I was like, I started processing through information. I never even took my eyes off of him because it was kind of like I was staring at a Greek god. Like this man just spit some words that kind of made me rethink my whole life. What's my purpose here on earth? Do I want to talk? Do I need to shut up? Just like stuff like I was thinking, I was like, yes, I want to talk. Like I broke his question. It was a question and a statement kind of, and I broke it up into two pieces. If you want to talk, then shut up. And I started saying, okay, let's dissect this. If you want to talk, and I started, do I want to talk? Like I know the obvious answer is yes, but like, do I really inside, with really who I am and my identity at this point, do I really want to be blurting out facts about me and I don't even know who I am? I don't even know myself. What I'm saying? Sometimes we think we know who we are, but we really don't even know who we are. We don't know what our likes are. We don't know what our dislikes are. We don't know what we believe. We don't know where we're going in life. And I was only, 8 or 10 years old, and this man asked me, if you want to talk, and I really examined myself. I examined my whole life, and I said, yes, I want to talk, but do I really want to talk? Do I really want to put these words into the universe, into the stratosphere when I don't even know the answers to them yet? Do I want to talk? And the next part of that was then shut up. And it was like he asked this answer and then gave me the question. If you want to talk, yes, I do. But no, I don't. Then shut up. Shut up. I haven't even made up my mind yet. So now I'm trying to figure out, how do I talk while I'm shutting up? And it just didn't make sense to me. And it took me 38 hours to crack the code that he was just not paying attention to what he was saying. He was really good at saying things that didn't make sense. There's a famous radio station, Christian radio station down here called KSBJ. And I remember when my cousin Daryl first got saved, he was looking for these Christian radio stations. And he looked at my dad and he said, hey, Jimbo, tune my, and it's supposed to be KSBJ. He said, tune my radio to KBJSJ. And my dad takes it literally. He said, you know what, Daryl, I don't think, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't never heard of a KBSJSBSJ. I don't think I know, what number that is. And they'll just go back and forth. And they just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the whole time, me and my brother were just sitting in the back seat like, yo, it's KSBJ. Just don't be stupid. Like that's all you have to do. And that really that transfers into life too. Just don't be stupid. And you just be smart. And that's all you got to do. My high school coach, he said when he was a teacher, He only had one room in his classroom, and his classroom rule was don't mess up. If you don't mess up, you'll be perfectly fine, and you'll go through it, and you'll be successful. And you'd be like, well, what does don't mess up mean? Well, it's simple. Don't mess up means do the right thing. How would our world look like if we didn't mess up, but we did the right thing? And I think that's an important question to ask ourselves. And I want to ask you that. Sometimes we do it on purpose. Are you purposely messing up so that you can get the attention of others? Are you purposely messing up so you can try to fit into a crowd that, isn't really who you are, but you want to look, you want to put on this facade that's different than the person that you really are, so that you can, at the expense of your own integrity and at the expense of your own identity, you're willing to sacrifice that to, make friends with people who genuinely, aren't even really there for you. And if I could encourage you in any way, is to be yourself. Be yourself at all times and don't mess up. And it's natural that we're going to, but if I could just encourage you to do the right thing, be yourself and do the right thing. And you might be saying, well, people don't like who I really am. Then I would tell you, find different people. Our life is short. Scripture says it's just a breath. It's here today and gone tomorrow. And, it's not worth it to be, trying to act like somebody that we're not. And I just encourage you to be yourself. And if people don't like it, find different people. Because you don't want to impress people that really aren't about you, just to find out in the end that they don't like you and, they've just been using you and now you've wasted 5 years of friendship. You want to be yourself and invest in people to the best of your abilities. And just, if you're yourself, then you'll never have a regret. If you be yourself and you do what is right, you'll never have a regret. And so that's just my encouragement to you. We're all in this together. I was reading scripture today in Philippians 1, and Paul says, we're all in this together. And it makes me think of that High School Musical song. And if you've never watched High School Musical, well, you're a liar, because you have. We're all in this together. I'm saying something. I don't know the lyrics, but I remember we're all in this together. And he said, life's a struggle. And saying that you don't struggle is, you're lying. Because we all struggle. We all have different areas that we struggle in. Some of us, we struggle with our temper. Some of us, we struggle with anger. Some of us, we struggle with unforgiveness, with bitterness. We just all have different struggles. And if we could really just be there for one another instead of acting better than one another and putting on this facade like we are, I think our relationships would be better, and I think life would be better if we could just be ourselves. And sometimes that's hard to do because you want to impress people. You want people to like you. But I don't think that's ever worth us losing who we are and losing sight of what, is really important in life. And I'll tell you what's important in life. What's important in life is your spiritual life. What do you believe in? Who do you believe in? What makes you? Your character is important. Your relationships are important. And your mental health is important. So as long as you're taking care of your spiritual life, well, let me add your physical, your exercise is important. Your diet's important, all that stuff. So as long as you're taking care of your health in all aspects, physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, you're taking care of your relationships, and you're always striving to do the right thing and, just be the best person you can be, I think life will be, fun for you. And life, well, I don't want to say fun. Life will be a lot better. So just live life to the fullest, man. Be the best person you could be. And I love you guys so much. And, don't forget that if you go to Mississippi, it's a different world out there. You want to bring back your little Nokia, your little Nokia phone, bring a tent, a TP maybe, because the world's different down there. Bring cash. Don't try to use no debit card in Mississippi. They'll look at you and wonder why you brought a Monopoly piece. They just straight cash down there, Daddy. They don't even know what, debit cards are. That's just ancient land. That's a land where all that matters is, each other. and traditional values. But until next time, I love you guys so much. If you need somebody to talk to, reach out to me. I'm here for you, 100%. I'm always here for you. I'm always willing to pray for you. And if nobody's told you today, I'm proud of you, and I love you with all my heart. And until next time, peace out, Girl Scout. I'll see you later. Deuces.
Falling down on my knees once again. Falling, I've seen my fate. I can't stand to